Hello everyone, welcome back to SFTC Mix. In this video, we are going to see the Salesforce technical overview, like what Salesforce dev team usually get from the business. I mean to say, what are the requirements which Salesforce dev team will get from the business side, and how do they perform their operations to fulfill the requirement from the business side. In my last videos, we have focused mainly on the Salesforce theoretical aspect and the Salesforce business aspect. So in this video, we're going to see what are the tech stacks which Salesforce dev team will use to fulfill the requirement from the business side. So without any delay, let's get started. So let's start with a technical overview about the Salesforce. So to demonstrate this particular technical overview, I have taken a scenario about the lead management and automation. I just took one sample object within the Salesforce to demonstrate the technical overview so that it will be easy to follow the flow as well. So usually in the real world business scenarios, the requirement would be across the multiple different objects. So in the screen, you can see there is a flow, or we can say the kind of a architecture diagram of the requirement which will be given by the business. So usually there'll be certain requirements comes from the business side to the Salesforce development team, which contains the configuration changes which usually the admins will perform, and some will contains the development changes which Salesforce developers will work on. So let's look into these requirements, and I have already completed this components development so that we can cover up the things faster in this particular video. And I'm not going to explain each and every components, and focusing on this video especially made for the new joiners and all the people who are interested to join in Salesforce. I'm just going to give the technical overview at a high level, how usually the components will be there within the Salesforce and the path where you can go and start building that components. So let's start looking into that. So I hope you have watched my previous videos where I have already explained the general terms about the Salesforce or the objects within the Salesforce, like what is lead, contact, everything. If not, please do watch that video and come back here so that it will be easy for you to follow this context. So let's look into the requirements I have listed down here. So I have just taken a very simple requirements for the demonstration purpose. First thing, a web to lead form. So we know that in Salesforce, we can create a lead manually, but we can also create a web to lead, which we can host on the certain websites so that the user will visit that particular form and fill out the form. And whenever they fill out that particular form, the lead will be automatically created within the Salesforce. So that is one of the requirement. And when they fill out that particular requirement, I mean to say, when the users fill out that particular form, the lead will be created within the Salesforce. And whenever that lead is created, there should be an acknowledgement email sent to the customers back saying that or confirming that your lead has been successfully created within the Salesforce. So that is our another requirement which we need to fulfill. Suppose that there should be certain validation within the lead. Whenever the lead is updated to certain stage, there should be a validation. We know about the validation in general context. If we see, if we are stopping the user on entering the bad data, or or avoiding the user without avoiding the users to proceed further without filling the certain data, we in we introduce the validation rule, and that will stop the users from doing that particular things. So we'll see how we can implement the validation within the Salesforce, and we are also going to see certain things about the approval process, because that's also one of the common requirement from the business, that they need an approval process to be implemented on the object. Usually the approval process will be on a different object within Salesforce. It will be on opportunity, but for the demo purpose, since I'm showcasing this entire demo within the single object, so I'm just implementing this approval process also here. And we are also going to see when the lead is converted. We know that lead is a potential customers, and they are going to get converted post conversation with the lead. And if we are getting a confirmation that they are going to make a business with us, the business will usually convert that lead. And whenever the lead is converted, there should be another notification sent to the customers or the lead email saying that your lead is now converted. So coming back or coming down here, so we are also going to see some automation thing. When the lead has been updated to certain stage, we need certain related object needs to be created. So campaign is one of the related objects within the lead. When the lead is updated to certain stage, the campaign should automatically be created. And also we are going to see some front-end development part as well. So related to the front-end development, we have different ways we can deal with it. Like if the requirement is specially to edit the page and make some changes, we have something called lightning record page. And if the requirement is to override some standard create screen or the functionalities available, we have to go with the lightning web component. We need to build that components and override with the standard behavior. We are going to see that. And finally, there comes the Apex integration. So like I mentioned in my previous videos, Salesforce also connected with certain different applications to fulfill the entire business operations. So data will be syncing with the different applications from Salesforce to external system and from external system to Salesforce. So for the integration, I'm just going to show a small piece of code how actually it looks like. So these are all the requirements I have listed now. Let's see one by one how we are going to implement this. Again, I'm not going to explain the things in detail, like step by step how we are going to create it, but we are focusing mainly on at high level explanation of the technical overview about this implementation. So let's see one by one. So going back to the Salesforce org, first thing which I mentioned is web to lead creation. So this is our lead object. We have an option to create a lead manually, so we can create that. But what if the external users wants to submit some form which needs to get a lead created within the Salesforce? So for that, we need a form and we need to give that form to the certain website managers, whoever is managing the certain website, so that they can dump that particular form within their website. And when the customer visits their website, they see the form, fill it out and submit. That creates a lead within the Salesforce. To do that, so usually most of the configuration within the Salesforce will be done via this setup, and this particular option is available for customers as well, but they won't be having the access to perform the certain configuration. Most of the configuration, it will be available only for the Salesforce admins. So that access will be given only for the Salesforce development team. So if you go here and if you simply search web to lead, there is an option called web to lead. And this is where the Salesforce dev team will configure the web to lead. They can simply click on this create web to lead and configure the web to lead accordingly. I already have it configured. So I will show that HTML file, which I have it. After configuration, this is how it looks like. This is an HTML file. I'll run it. Before that, let me show the code of it. So this is how it looks like. So when we configure the web to lead within the Salesforce, this kind of HTML document will be automatically generated within the Salesforce, which will be having the Salesforce org ID and everything. And that is how on submitting this form, the lead will be created within the Salesforce. And we are going to give this form to the certain website manager. They can dump it in their website. So let's see how it will look like when they dump it in their website. As of now, I don't have any website, so I'm just running this HTML file locally, and this is how the form will look like. So let's submit this form and see if we are going to get the lead created within the Salesforce. So it's test lead SFTC mix and last name demo. I'm just giving some random names. So test at gmail.com and company SFTC mix and phone number. I'm just giving some random phone numbers and submit. So when I click on submit, it is redirecting to this particular image because for the demo purpose, I have just added some random image, but depends on the requirement. we can configure it accordingly. So let's go back to the lead and let me refresh this page and see if I got the lead created. Yeah. So I can see this particular lead is created. So this lead has been created from the form which has been submitted from the external site. So now we got the lead created. So now our next requirement was whenever the lead created via web to lead form, the auto response email should be automatically triggered to the customer or the lead email. So if we go to the lead details, so this is the email. So as per our requirement, an auto response email should be triggered to this particular email. So if we have access to the mailbox, we can either go to the mailbox and verify, but that's some random email I have given. So we can also verify here. If you can see, there is an email triggered actually. So if I just come down, so this is an email trigger which says your lead record has been created successfully and subject is this, and it is picking up the lead name dynamically. Whatever is the lead submitted, that lead name is picking up. And how this is working? Salesforce also provides another standard feature called auto response. So this is how it looks like. It's a lead auto response. Similarly, we have it for keys as well. So if I select this, click on this lead auto response, I already have one created. I'll just open the same and I'll just show you. So we can define the criteria when exactly this auto response should be triggered and from which email, and here is a template. So we also need to create an email template. I mean to say Salesforce developer team also need to create an email template for that. So this all will be done by the Salesforce dev team as per the requirements which customers provided. So if I go here to the details and click on setup, it's going to show me the email template which I have created. And this is the email template which I already have created. And here I have entered the body, and this is some merge field which I have added. And this is how it is picking up the lead name dynamically. So that's how it will trigger an email. And let's quickly move to our next requirement. So let's look into the validation things first, and then we'll come back to the conversion. So related to the validation, I already have implemented certain validation. Let's see the validation rule components first, and then we will come back to the lead and see how it works. So if I go to the object manager, in order to go to the validation, I need to go to the certain object for which I have built a validation rule. I'll go to the lead, and here we have an option called validation rules. I already have one validation rule created, and as per this validation rule, if the status is closed not converted and description field is blank, then it's going to trigger the specific validation message. So this validation rule has to be built by the Salesforce Dev team. I already have built it and made it active as well. Let's see if this validation rule will trigger. So this is our lead, and if I go to the details, I could see, let me see the description. Yeah, so the description field is blank. So let me change the status and see. So as per the requirement, if we are changing the status to closed not converted and the description field is blank, it should trigger a validation message, and it is triggering the validation message as well. Please enter the description with the reason for not converting. So if I enter the reason and save it, it will allow me to save this, because it is by this way it is fulfilling the requirement of the validation rule. So now quickly go back. Now we'll quickly go back to the flow part. The lead conversion and the campaign creation, because I have implemented both of these functionalities within the single component, and that component is called the lightning flows. So if I go to the flow here, again, you just need to go to the setup from this, and in the quick find box, you'll be able to find the flow component. So when you click on a flow, you can see there's already a lot of flows created. And if you want to create a new flow, all you have to do is you just need to click on new flow, and there you see the certain options which you can select and create a flow. So here, just to give some context, flow is an automation tool and it's a low coded tool. So most of the automations you can do it with the flows. Anything which is quite complicated or can't be done within the flow, for that we will switch to the Apex and triggers, which is the proper development thing. So here you have a lot of options, the record trigger, scheduled screen flow, lot of flows options are available. And for our requirement, I already have a flow created. So let me just open that and I'll just quickly show. Okay, let me check. Where is it? Okay. So this is the flow. So within this flow, I have added two requirements. So the first thing is whenever the lead is converted, a notification is to be sent out. And when the lead is updated to certain stage, the campaign should be automatically created. So this flow looks like a flowchart itself with certain elements like decision. It's a condition element. Based on this, if it's true, it's going to create a record. If not, it's going to go to the next condition. It's a simple logics, and this is a very simple flow. Depends on the requirement, the flow can be bit more complicated and the flow length will be long as well. And just for the demonstration purpose, I just picked up a simple requirement and created this very simple flow. And here you can see, as per this decision, when the status is equals to working contacted, then we have to create a campaign automatically. So let's see if this part is working first. I'll go to the lead and I'm going to update the status to working contacted. Before I update, I'll show the campaign history is currently 0 and I'll click on mark current status as completed. And you can see the campaign is automatically created. So that is happening because of the flow. So now going back to the flow, we have another requirement added in this flow as well. That is when the lead stage is changed to close converted, then we are sending an email to the specific recipient. So I just added some very simple um, the body and the subject line here, but you can also do this. You can also send emails via flow with different options. Like you have an option to select the specific email template and send it, and there are other different ways as well. But now let's see if this particular thing is working. Let's convert our lead. So what I'll do, I'll just click on convert and select converted. When I'm converting, I'll get a multiple options. So I'm just keeping as is and I'll click on convert. So when I convert this, it will create account, contact and opportunity, and I can go to the account, and the email which I gave was a dummy email, which is fine. However, I can see if in case the email was triggered, I'll be able to see it here. But I don't see any email here, and this is actually an issue. I just kept that issue as is because I will, with that, I will also get an opportunity to show you if in case the dev team noticed any issues, how they will usually debug that or backtrace the issue and find the solution for that. So this is one of the scenario where they will find an issue. Let's say in this requirement, when the lead is converted, the email should be triggered to the customers, but that is not happening. So usually what developers will do, they'll go to the component which is built. This has been built via flow, so they will go to the component and see if it is meeting the requirement. If they see if it is meeting the requirement, but still the email is not getting triggered, Salesforce Flows does provide a standard feature called debug option. So with that, they'll be able to debug it. So let's debug that. Before debugging, let me find out some flow which I can use that for debug. Okay, let's consider this particular lead, which is lead LWC. And I'll simply click on debug. Okay, there was some changes I believe. That's fine. Save and debug. Let me refresh it. Okay, so it's getting refreshed and now I can debug this. So And remember one thing, this will run in a rollback mode. I mean to say, whatever changes you're making here, that won't affect the actual record within the Salesforce. After the debug has been completed, it will roll back. So now I'll select the lead and I'll select the scenario as updated because I'm updating and I need that particular thing to be triggered when, okay, let me come down. Okay, it was showing some glitch. Okay, now I can see that. So now I will move it to close converted and run it. So when I run it, it will show me the path, how it is going. So in this case, the lead status equals to working updated doesn't meet because we have updated to close converted. So that's why this condition is not meeting and it's going to default outcome and it's coming back here and lead status changed. Then it is sending an email. So we could see it is coming to the path fine, but let's see, is it actually sending an email? So to see that on the left side, you can see it will also show the steps, how it ran everything. And if if we expand that, so let me expand it again. So I think this is some glitch within the flow. It's not allowing me to expand, but that is fine. But just remember, anyway, I have already seen this behaviors as well. This is how you can see how the steps went, whether it meet whether it met the requirement, what was the value it provided. Everything you'll be able to see it here, and I could see here also everything is fine. It does says the email has been sent, but we did not receive any email. So we will have to verify what happened, why we did not receive any email. So the final step is what we can do. The Salesforce also provides some option called email logs. So we can request for that. What we can do, we can just go to the email logs and see why is it failing. So if you go to the email logs, here you can put the dates and request for a log. I already requested for a log and this was a week back, I believe. So I have that file. I'll just show that how exactly that looks like. I think that's there in the music. Yep. So here it is. And this is the email log file. So if I open this, so this is how the log file will look like. And here you can see it is actually sending an email, but it is being blocked because of something called DKIM key is not set up. So that is some kind of authentication mechanism. It will try to verify whether the email getting sent is a valid email or not, which needs a DKM key to be set up. And right now, I won't be able to set up because it does contain certain steps which I won't be able to perform within my personal Salesforce org. So I'm just leaving that part as is. But ideally, that scenario should be working fine if we have this setup available. So I just kept that issue as is so that I could show you how exactly the Salesforce dev team will backtrace the issues. So this is one way, but usually when they are doing the actual development with the Apex and triggers, there will be some logs generated in the backend, and if they see any issues, they will they will access that log files and verify the steps or the things in the backend. So now going back to our requirement. So now. Uh, we can also do this specific thing, which I have shown the lead conversion via Apex and triggers as well. So when we can do that certain things via flow and via Apex or triggers, we mostly will choose the lightning flows. The reason is because it's a low coded, which does not require much maintenance compared to the Apex, which is a development thing. But just for the demo purpose, I will also show you how we can implement the same scenario with the Apex and triggers. So in Salesforce, Since it's a cloud platform, Salesforce does provide the developer consoles within the Salesforce org itself. So you don't need to download or install any other application for the development of Apex or triggers or the Aura components or the Visual Force page. Only uh, part of the development, which is the LWC component, Lightning Web component, which is a front-end development. For that, you would need a help of the Visual Studio. But apart from that, everything you can do within this developer console. So when you open this developer console, so you can see this kind of a view where you can create. So where you can create Apex class, triggers, and the Visual Force page, Lightning page, everything you'll be able to create it. So if you see here, the lead trigger handler, and this is an Apex class, the lead trigger handler, and there should be a trigger as well. Let me open that as well. So lead trigger, this is an Apex, sorry, this is a trigger and this is an Apex, and there is a test class as well. So if we are going for the development with the same requirement, we have to create three different files. So this is what the differences I was talking about the maintenance. So let's say for the same requirement, when the lead status is converted, an email should be triggered. So we need a trigger file. That is because to define when exactly that particular action should be triggered. So when the lead is updated, and within the Apex file, we are defining the logic, the business logic, when exactly the email should be triggered. So when the email is converted, then we are sending this particular email to the lead's email. And also for every Apex class within the Salesforce, it does require the test class as well to make sure the classes are having the proper code coverage and doesn't have any unwanted lines and all. So what exactly this test class means? So this test class is nothing but the same test which we do on the UI, the same thing we are doing it via coding. That's the only difference, nothing else. So every Apex class and triggers does require a test class, and it also has a target of a 75% minimum code coverage is required for every Apex or the trigger. And if in case you are not meeting that, you won't be able to deploy that particular components to the production. However, minimum is 75, but it's recommended that you always keep it more than 80 or 85 because it also depends on the data of the existing org. Like when you're deploying it, if in case it finds some issue with the data and all, the chances are there the percentage might drop when you're deploying it to the production. So that's why the safer target is more than 80% or 85%. So let me quickly run this test class and let me show you how exactly it works. When I run this particular test class, it will validate whether that Apex class requirements, everything is getting covered. If it is, it shows status as completed, otherwise it will get failed. And I can also check the code coverage here by going to the specific class, or I can go to the specific Apex class itself and I can click on here and just check the code coverage. I could see it's all covering fine. I mean, it's covering the 100% of code coverage, which is all good. So now going back. Okay, so before I go to the LWC, I'll also show the Apex integration part as well. So this is how the integration file will look like. I won't be able to explain much about the integration because I don't have any existing integration available with any external system. And so just for the demo purpose, I just put this very simple sample file. This is how the integration file will look like, where you define the external system's URL and the method and content body and the request, everything you'll mention it. And that is how the integration will work between the Salesforce and the external system. So coming back to the front-end development part, which is the LWC. So all we spoke about contains some of the configuration, and the Apex and triggers which we talked about mostly focus on the backend development, and the one which we're talking now the LWC Lightning component is for the front end development. So, related to the front end development, when exactly it comes to the picture. So, let's say users want to make some changes in the UI look and feel. They want to say make some change in the lead page. They want to make some change. We have certain options. If in case it's part of the edit page, we can simply edit this page. Again, these options won't be available for the actual customers or the business users. I am able to see this because I have a system admin profile, means, or you can consider I'm part of the Salesforce development team. So when I click on edit page, I will be able to make a lot of changes here. I have options to conditionally display certain components, fields, everything, and I can add or remove the certain navigation things. And on the left side, you can see there is already some standard components available. You can also build some custom components which will be available here, and you can drag and drop to the page. For example, if I want actions and recommendations, this is actually a standard component. But if in case if you have any custom component, I can simply drag and drop it anywhere I want on the page, and this is how it looks. This is how we can design it, and we can also make it check it how exactly it looks on our desktop, phone, everything, and we can also save it. But now our requirement is quite different. We want to change the or we want to override the standard feature or the standard feature of the create screen of lead. So if I go back to this image, so this is for lightning screen, and if I go to the lead object here, we already have a standard feature. For example, if I click on create new, oh, okay. So I think I just kept it as is on the actions. What I mean is I already made a changes, I believe. Okay, that's fine. I will show it in a reverse way. Let me quickly check. Yeah. So I have selected the lightning component. Okay. So our requirement is when we click on new, it will display a standard lead page, but customers don't want that. They want to customize it and put only very few fields within the lead create form. That's a requirement. So what I will do, I will put it back to what it was before. Okay, let me click on save. So when I click on save, it does take some, a few seconds to reflect the changes because it's LWC component. Meanwhile, I will show you how we create that Lightning Web components. So this is where we need the help of the Visual Studio Code. So what we do within the Visual Studio Code, we create all these folders, and here we see something called LWC, Lightning Web Component. We just right click here and we have an option new Lightning Component. When we do that, by default, we get our HTML, JavaScript, and the meta file created, which supports for this JavaScript and HTML. And on top of it, if you want to customize or decorate the page, everything, you can also add the CSS component as well. But as of now, I don't have a CSS added. So what does this do? So within this HTML page, I'll be adding the field names, whichever I want to display it on the front screen, first name, last name, company, email, phone, everything, and the lead source. And within the JavaScript file, I'll be defining the logic. What should happen with that fields? When that particular fields are filled up, I should display a message lead successfully created, and the lead should be inserted successfully, and it should redirect back to the lead record page or the lead view page. So this is how we create, and this one is a meta file which supports for these two files, the HTML and the JavaScript files. In order to deploy this to the Salesforce org, because Previously, what I have shown about the developer console, that is within the Salesforce itself. So whatever the changes we made, we just need to click on save. That will directly implement within the Salesforce org. But for the Lightning Web Component, since we are building it within the Visual Studio, we have to deploy it to the Salesforce. So all we have to do is we just need to right click and deploy the source to org so that it will get deployed within the Salesforce. So now let's go back and see if our changes are getting reflected. Let me refresh. So I click on new, and yes, I can see the new page, and this is a standard page. So in the standard page, you can see there is a lot of fields are available, right? So this is actually Salesforce standard field. And now let's assume the business requirement is they don't want to see a lot of fields within this create screen. They just need very few fields, around 5 to 6 fields is enough for them. So this is a standard field, a standard page, and we cannot override it simply. So we have to override it with the custom components, which we build it via LWC. Let me cancel it, and we already have our LWC components created, and we have it deployed as well. And how do we override it? So for that, you have to go to the lead object and buttons link and action. And where exactly it is coming? If you go to the lead object, if you click on new button, then that particular page is coming. So you just need to look into the new button or the quick action. And right now you can see the content source is a standard page. Standard page, all you have to do is you just need to click on edit, and here lightning experience override. You just need to select the lightning experience override and then select the lead create aura. Here you see something called aura, right? The one which we have created is a lightning web component LWC. But the thing is, the LWC won't directly appear here, and that's the reason we have to create a traditional Aura component. Um, I think I have it somewhere. Okay, let me open it. Lead create Aura component. Yeah. So this is the one which we will then redirect to the LWC component, and that is how it works. So initially with this quick action, it will redirect to this lead create Aura component, and from Aura it will redirect to the LWC component, and whatever we define on LWC, that's going to get displayed within the screen. So let's select this and save it. And once we save it, if we want to check it immediately for the LWC thing, it won't appear immediately. We either have to wait, or we can just do the hard refresh so that we can see if it does work. It will work because when we do the hard refresh, the changes will be reflected. I'm done. Let me close this. Let me switch back to the lightning view. And now let's see the changes. So if we go to the lead, and now I click on new. Okay, so I think the refresh is not completed yet. Let me cancel it. Let me do it again. And let me go back. Okay, I need to close this dev tools and go back to the lightning. And I'll go to the leads and click on new leads. Okay, so now the changes are reflecting. So now you see, we can see the changes, right? So there were a lot of fields available within the standard page, and now we have very few fields. That's how we designed it. We can also change this design as per the requirement, because right now the width is very long, right? So we can also shrink it, everything that, and for that we have to do a few more configurations within this LWC. We may need to add the CSS component as well for that. Right now, let me fill up this test new lead SFTC mix. Okay, company SFTC mix. And I will put some random email and phone and lead source web. and I will click on create lead. So when I click on create lead, this is the message we have put in our HTML page, lead created successfully, and as per the redirection behavior we defined on the JavaScript file, it will redirect back to the lead record page. So this is how it works. So now coming back to our diagram or the technical overview flow, I think we have covered almost all the requirements. All the requirements we have covered. So that is how the Salesforce developer team will work on the requirements which is provided by the business side. I hope you find these videos helpful, and this video has been specially made for the people who are new to the Salesforce or who have an interest to join the Salesforce or start their career in Salesforce. I'm pretty sure they'll find this helpful because they would be having a lot of questions like what and all will be there in a Salesforce, how does the Salesforce developer team works, everything will be there. So thanks for watching the video, and if anyone watching the video you're already working in a Salesforce, please do share it with your friends who would need it so that they can also find it helpful. So stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching the video.